You're listening to the Draft in Hand podcast with your hosts, Greg, Ian, and Mark.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. My name is Greg. I'm here with Ian.
Yup.
And Mark.
I brought gloves out today. It's pretty cold.
And today we have a special guest on with us, Noah Hall. Welcome, Noah.
Thanks for having me, guys.
So Noah is Mark's brother, and he's had a pretty good baseball career so far. He's pretty young, but he's represented Team Canada at the U18 Baseball World Cup. So that would essentially be our junior national team.
Yep.
In 2018, he represented Team Ontario at the Canada Cup, and that took place in New Brunswick in 2018. Currently, he is playing in the National Junior College Athletic Association, college baseball level in the States, for the Iowa Western Reivers.
What division is that school in, Noah?
It's a D1 junior college.
That's cool.
Right on. So, young guy doing some pretty good things in baseball from Scarborough, Ontario.
Born and raised.
Represent.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just dive into this. You want to tell us about your experience with playing for Team Canada in 2019, the junior national program?
It was extremely surreal. Being picked to represent your country whenever is always an honor. Being able to go to the World Cup, especially, it was cool to go experience South Korea. It was held down in Busan, which is the southern part of South Korea. It was fun playing teams from other countries, seeing all these different play styles that each country kind of developed. You get to see these teams like South Korea and Japan who developed more of a small ball type of baseball. A lot of bunting, a lot of stealing, a lot of things like that you don't see here in the MLB or just in North America in general.
Yeah, when I was watching a few of the games that I watched, it looks like you guys were the only ones trying to hit home runs. The other teams were just like single.
Yeah,
work a count for a walk.
You see us, America, Australia. They weren't focusing on moving runners, getting them in scoring position. They're trying to hit the double, hit the home run.
Dingers.
But you see, when we played Japan, I think we lost that game, but
that was a close game, though.
It was. I think we lost 5-1. It was close basically the whole way through. But first guy'd get on, and then automatically, next guy up is bunting, get him over.
And how does that affect if you're playing defense? You're playing first base most of that tournament.
Yeah.
How does that affect your mindset defensively now that you got a guy standing beside you on first base? You guys cheating a little bit, or you don't want to cheat too much but respect the bunt?
Well, we're usually in a bunt defense, considering the fact that Japan was consistently trying to get the guy over, and so we usually have our third baseman playing more and just being a bunt defense type of formation. Try to give us the best chance. If we can get the guy out at second, we'll take it. But if not, we'll just take the easy out at first.
Cool. So for when playing with Team Canada, are there any highlights aside from the travel? So we'll get into the travel sort of a little bit more detail. You mentioned those. You sort of grazed over those pretty quick. But just playing for Team Canada, is there a highlight that stands out in your mind?
For me, for my own personal highlight, I'd say came against me, played Nicaragua, and I hit a home run. It was easily my favorite home run I've ever hit in my career so far.
There's no doubter, too.
Yeah, it was. I hit over the right field wall. It was just surreal, just the team cheering for you after you hit it, just the overall excitement because games are decent crowds, just the excitement from the crowd.
What was it like playing in front of the Korean fans and stuff like that?
Oh, it was. They weren't cheering for us, that's for sure. Especially when we played South Korea. It was.
No, I'd imagine not.
So what was it like being an enemy? Were you guys booed?
No. They're more respectful.
They're more respectful
than
that?
North American fans.
Right, okay.
But it was amazing.
No beer can thrown at you?
No, nothing like that. But they were respectful fans. But it was a little different being in a different territory and just knowing that most of the fans there aren't
aren't there to see you win.
See you win.
So, okay, speaking of that home run, if it's the one that stands out in your mind the most, do you remember the at bat? Do you remember the pitch?
I remember mostly at bat. I hit off a 3-2. It was a 3-2 fastball. I think it was like the eighth pitch of the at bat.
Okay. So it was a long at bat. It wasn't just step right up
It's
there.
pretty long at bat.
You earned that home run.
Yeah. I fouled off some good pitches. I'm pretty sure I got down early, too. Fought it back to 3-2, and then I guess he missed his spot with his fastball. I just put a good swing on it.
Right. And he deposited it
I want-
beyond the right field wall.
I want to know what team you think was the hardest team to play in that tournament.
Ooh. There's probably either Japan or the States. When we faced Japan, the guy they threw was projected to go top 3 in the Japanese pro draft.
Holy shit.
So he was low 90s fastball,
Movement?
a little bit of movement,
Fuck.
but he had a curveball that was a plus curveball, big league curveball.
Ankle breaking?
huh?
Ankle breaking?
Yeah, I think he struck us out 18 times that night.
Holy
Wow.
fuck.
Yeah. And America, there's just a team full of talent.
It's America.
Yeah, there's just a full team of draft prospects, big D1 commits.
Who was the top ranked team in that tournament? Like the pre-ranking.
I think it was either America or Japan.
So it's one of those two.
Yeah.
So the ranking was justified.
Yes.
And so comparably, where were you? Where were the Canadians ranked?
I think going to that tournament, we were ranked 5th. I think we were ranked 5th going in.
Out of how many?
8 teams go.
8 teams. So 5th of 8.
No, 10 teams go, sorry. 10
5th
teams
of
go.
10.
Yeah.
And you had to
Good back.
qualify to get to South Korea by playing in Australia, wasn't it?
No, so we were in Australia before South Korea. That was a pre-camp. Just I think we took like 26 guys, and it was just to get down to the final roster.
Oh, okay.
So the qualification came the year before, when another team went to, I think it was Panama, to qualify for the teams in North America to go to the World Cup.
Okay, so there are other people in the Canadian junior national program that essentially earned your way to that
The tournament
world
the
stage.
following year.
Yeah, that's
Right.
correct.
Right. So you have to be pretty grateful for those guys. Were you able to meet any of them?
I had played with a couple guys who were on that team before. I've met a lot of them. So the junior national program is really pretty tight knit family.
Right. Okay. So prior to representing Canada, you were a member of Team Ontario in the Canada Cup. What was that experience like?
It was another extremely cool experience. You know, you're facing all the top talent basically across Canada, best players from every province. We ended up winning it, which was really cool. Got a gold medal. Probably not real gold, but it had some weight to it. Then there too, just the amount of fans that were there was pretty cool. I think one of my favorite games when we faced New Brunswick, because it was in New Brunswick, so there's a lot of fans there, but they weren't there for us again.
Right.
And there you could tell a little more than it was in South Korea, because they were a lot louder,
More obnoxious.
a little more obnoxious against,
Not as
Understand?
respectful.
not as respectful
Okay.
as the South
Right.
Koreans were.
Okay. And are there any highlights from that tournament? I mean, New Brunswick. Is there an at bat or a play against New Brunswick that really sort of stands out?
It wasn't. I didn't really do anything special against New Brunswick. It was just the atmosphere of that game. But I say, if anything to highlight from that, of course, winning it. But I'd say winning. I was finals MVP of the final game, which was pretty cool. I had a good game that day. I think I went 3-4 home run, 3 or 4 RBIs.
And do you remember each at bat?
Yeah, I think first inning, hit a home run.
Bat flip too.
Yeah, bat flipped a little bit.
A little bit.
Then next at
Pimped it.
bat, hit a base up the middle. Next one had an ass out single over the second baseman's head. I think I just struck out my last at bat.
So it's interesting that you're able to vividly remember each at bat. Is that something that you sort of look back on and you reflect on those, or is that just because they're big moments that, you know what, this is a big game, I'm gonna keep these in the back of my mind, and they just sort of stick there?
They just sort of stick there. Like I don't go in the game thinking, oh, if I have a good day, I'm gonna remember it. It's just kind of moments that just stick with me, just because everything that just happens that day. I guess winning goal and just that day is just kind of just remembered.
Don't lie, you're just more surprised you hit the ball.
No. I mean, one of the at bats I was kind of surprised I hit it, but.
So which of the provinces, let's maybe in the round robin, which of those do you remember playing and saying, wow, these guys are pretty good? Were there any guys on any of the other provinces that you knew? So it's sort of like a rival game.
I knew a few kids on a bunch of different provinces. I knew a couple kids on Quebec, a couple kids on BC, a couple kids on Saskatchewan, knew a couple kids on Alberta, things like that. So like I kind of knew kids from all over the place.
Did you end up reuniting with any of them on the junior team?
Yep, played with a few kids that we played in in Canada Cup. That be a couple months later were teammates on Team Canada.
You guys able to get past your differences fast?
Yeah, there's no hate. It's all love within the game.
What was it like getting the call or email, whatever they do nowadays, saying that, hey, we'd like you to come and represent Ontario?
For originally I didn't make the roster. So it was kind of, it sucks, but I was like, okay, it's not that big of a deal. Stuff happens. But then it was the day or 2 days, I think it was the day before they flew out. One of the coaches texted me, who's also my coach with the Mets, which was Rich Leach, texted me while we're at my Nana and Papa's saying, one of the kids got hurt. Do you want to come to New Brunswick and play for Team Ontario? I was like,
yes.
I was like,
Does a duck with a boner drag leaves?
I was shocked at first, and I was like, yeah, I'd love to come. So originally I never made the official roster, but something happened, and I was given my opportunity, and I made the most of it.
And that opportunity with Team Ontario, that led directly to the opportunity with Team Canada.
Yes, I think so.
So how did that process, being cut from Team Ontario initially, did that differ with the national junior team?
I think because the Canada Cup, so you're having all the best players from Canada kind of represented, it's a good place for scouting to be done and to see who really out there deserves it. So, and I had an extremely good tournament. So, I had an extremely good tournament. So I showcased myself really well. And I proved that I'm one of the better talents within Canada to play for that team.
So sorry, it was at the Canada Cup. You had a good tournament.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. So you mentioned your time with the Mets. What was that experience like playing for a AAA organization in the GTA?
It was a lot of fun. I created a lot of memories with a lot of guys I'm still friends with to today. I think I played there 3 or 4 years. They helped me develop my baseball talents really well. They helped me get to the places that I am at today.
Didn't a few players on your Mets team get drafted into the MLB as well, or a couple?
Yeah, so from my age group, we had 2 kids get drafted, Keegan Pulferthorpe and Ryan Leach. They both didn't sign. They both went to go play D1 baseball. Those are 2 kids who are exceptional talents and who have bright futures within baseball.
That's cool.
Right on.
Were they on the Canadian team too?
Yep, they were also on the Canadian team.
And did you find that sort of when you talk to them nowadays, their experience was similar to yours on in the national program and getting there?
Yeah. So everyone has a little bit of a different story, but so Keegan, he was on the national team the year before I was as well. So he was on it a little longer than I was. And then Ryan made the same year as I did. So everyone has a little bit of a different little path to making that team, but it's a little similar.
Okay, perfect. So let's go back and talk about the Mets a little bit more. Not just the Mets, but just growing up in general. So there aren't really many players in Major League Baseball that are from Canada, although we're slowly getting there.
Starting to see a young crop of kids come in.
Yeah, there seems to be a bit more of the pipeline is flowing a little more freely now.
Cleveland and San Diego really like their Canadians.
So are there any let's go this way first. Are there any organizations that sort of stuck out in your mind when you were playing in these tournaments that they were always sort of around, they always asked you questions, they seemed to have a little bit more interest in the Canadian talent?
Like pro teams or
Yeah.
not much. I talked to the athletics scout a little bit through the process, and I have one of my good friends got drafted by the athletics too in the 17th round. The Twins, I've heard a lot that the Twins really like their Canadians. They've drafted a few kids that I know of throughout the years. That's all I can think of really right now. Obviously, you have kids like Josh Naylor, Soroka, who are exceptional talents in the big leagues who got drafted by teams because their talent is exceptional.
Right. And I sort of asked this just because we're thinking of being in Toronto. The Toronto Blue Jays seem to have a pipeline from some of the Caribbean countries.
Yeah.
So I sort of asked, keeping in mind that maybe some, the Toronto Maple Leafs at the draft this past summer, a lot of Russian and European influence.
Yeah.
So I'm sort of just from that perspective wondering if there's any MLB teams that sort of
focus more on the Canadian
exactly
demographic.
Right.
Or have a good Canadian scout that knows where they're going.
Yeah.
Okay, so growing up, any influential coaches or mentors, or is there a favorite coach that stands out in your mind, or is there a group of people?
I have a couple of coaches that really have helped me throughout my career. Big. First, I'd say it would be Frank Gallo, who I was with the Stingers, Scarborough Stingers. He really helped me create a good fundamental base growing up.
How long was he your coach for?
A lot of years.
Yeah.
He was one of my first coaches that wasn't my dad.
Okay.
I think he was my coach when I was like 8 till I was probably about 14. So he's helped me a lot. He really helped me create a good fundamental base with my talents. Another one I'd say would be Rich Leach. He was my coach from 14 till I went to school. He just really helped
Fine-tune all your skills.
fine-tune it, get a little more complex, get a little better, as well as with the help of Andy Stewart, who was one of ex-professional baseball player, exceptional hitting coach. He was another guy who really helped expedite my hitting talents within the game.
Is that the guy that you worked with over the summer?
Yeah.
So between Frank, Rich, and Andy, are you still in touch with those gentlemen?
Yep. Still in touch with all of them till today.
Okay, perfect. Are they still giving you any advice? They send you an email or a text message now and again?
If I find myself if I need some help, won't be afraid to send a video or send a question to them if I need to.
Okay, so we hear a lot from pro athletes that have made it, or anybody who, Olympians, it could be anybody who's made it in sport. They talk so highly of their family, sacrifices they make, driving to practices, games, all over the country. What impact has family had in your way to where you are now?
A lot. Can't count the countless miles I've put on some cars here, just driving all over the states.
I mean, you forced your parents to put miles on.
Yeah, I didn't personally put the miles on, but I probably the reason thousands of miles have gone on some of our cars. Just the support that they've given me through my journey. My dad just throwing out his arm, throwing me BP. I don't think he can really throw much anymore for how much he's thrown at me throughout all the years.
Should learn how to throw left-handed.
He should. Just tell him that. It might take a little
You might
bit.
not find that funny.
My mom just the countless support she has given me, coming to all the games that she can, driving me to practice, not just with baseball but also hockey. She drove me around. Just all the driving around, the support that they've given me, just letting me do what I'm best at, and things like that.
So we know it seems like being full disclosure, Ian and I are neighbors with the Hulls. So
That's correct.
we'd look over and we'd see the vehicles gone for good parts of a week or weekend throughout the
Weekends.
summer. So knowing full well that they're in Indianapolis or insert another place,
Florida.
yeah, Florida for tons for good chunks of the baseball season. What are some of your favorite memories from being on the road? It doesn't have to be in the States, but any tournament you went to growing up.
Most of it off-field memories. Like, there's some good on-field memories, but a lot of the memories are made just in the hotel, just spending time with your teammates, with just everybody, just laughing, having a good time, just things like that. Just be able to just kind of get away. Just
Did the mini sticks still come when you're on the baseball tournaments?
sometimes, not as much as when you play hockey, but instead of mini sticks, it'd be a lot of wiffle ball.
Okay.
A lot of wiffle ball
Okay.
being played. So baseball's mini
Probably
stick
do a
is
little
wiffle ball.
damage with that.
Yeah, but it'd be a lot of wiffle ball being played in the grass area near the hotel.
Right. Yeah, a little less damage if you're in the hotel lawn than in the hotel hallway
Wait.
with mini sticks.
Body checking each
A
other.
lot
through the
harder to
wall.
get kicked out, noise complaints if you're outside.
That's yes, that is true. From experience, Noah, is that
Not getting kicked out, but I'm pretty sure I've created some noise complaints.
okay? Well, we don't have to get into those specifically, but if you want to apologize to those hotel managers, then we'll give you the opportunity to do that if you like.
Sorry.
Okay. Any other? So growing up as well. Let's continue down that road. A lot of good athletes, great athletes, they're not single sport. They'll play multiple sports. What other sports did you play growing up?
I mean, I played a lot of sports in high school, just all over, just volleyball, basketball, things like that in high school. But outside of high school, I played a lot of hockey. I played hockey since I could probably start to walk. So my years up till I decided to quit hockey and focus on baseball, where summer, just be all baseball. That's what you're focusing on as hockey comes up. Doesn't matter. My coaches understood that. And then once it transitions into the winter season, hockey would be the main focus. And baseball, I'd take a little back seat. Again, coaches understand that. So I'd be active all year round, just either if it's with baseball or with hockey.
Right. And so around what age did you sort of decide that baseball was going to be your main focus?
I was either 16. I think I was 16 when I decided to make that decision. I realized that I had a lot of talent, a lot more talent within baseball than I did in hockey, and I realized that I could go a lot further within baseball. So I thought that as much as I loved hockey, and it sucked quitting, I miss playing it a bit till this day, but I realized that I need to stop playing hockey, focus on baseball. Basically baseball 8-9 months of the year. Just focus on that, get better at that, see how far I can take it.
Which sport did you begin playing first?
God. I
Definitely was hockey.
don't know.
I'm not saying like in a league or anything, but I guarantee it was probably hockey.
Yeah, just from experience, looking out your kitchen window and seeing him in the driveway?
These three probably have a better chance answering it. I probably don't remember.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Using him as a
Goalie.
shooting goalie.
Was not fun.
Target. Not goalie, target.
It's not fun.
Yeah, so Noah, do you blame us for you not going very far in hockey on account of we put the ball past you and you were goalie too many times?
Well, I did start out my hockey career as a goalie. Fun fact.
Yep.
Hated it. Well, I mean, I was good, but my team was too good, and I got like 4 shots a game, so I was bored
Okay.
as hell. So I quit that. I just became a center, but
All right, so it's our fault, guys. We ruined his hockey future, and that's why he's wearing a Baseball Canada hat right now. Okay, great.
Golly gosh darn it.
Jeez. So currently, you are home for the holidays,
yep.
and you completed, I guess, one. I don't know if it was a full season of college baseball.
Guess you can call it a full season last year.
Full season.
Half season.
Well, this is if it's this year, we've played half a season. The fall
Right.
season's over.
Right. Okay. And then this pandemic thing that people have talked about sort of impacted what you've been doing down there.
A little bit. It was a little bit of a weirder fall with all the COVID stuff. Our team was luckily enough not to be really impacted by COVID, which is good. Everyone was able to stay healthy. So we were able to practice still every day through the fall with a little bit of restrictions here and there, but our fall ran pretty smoothly considering the fact.
Right on. So what was it like playing college baseball? What was the talent like? Was it sort of what you expected? Are there a lot of people around on your competition that you either recognized through playing with or playing against growing up?
Talent's pretty much where I expected. Everyone's good now. Some kids are still a little better than others, but everyone still has that talent where they can be successful. We played some schools throughout the year where I played against kids here. So there's still a good amount of Canadian kids going down south, going down to America, playing college baseball. So I was able to play against kids I played against for the last 5 years, which was cool to see.
Any Canadians on your team, other than you?
Yes, I have just 2 other kids on my team.
Where are they from?
One kid's from Mississauga.
Oh, that's cool.
I played against him
Oh, like growing up when you were young?
growing up.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
Played with him on Team Canada. I played with both these kids on Team Canada. And the other kid's from Nova Scotia.
That's good. You had an acquaintance when you walked in.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of familiar faces that you,
Yeah.
I don't want to say you get sick of seeing, but you see over and over again.
Yeah.
There's repetition there.
You got
Yeah.
somebody to talk to.
Oh, and somebody,
Yeah.
share experience with and sort of, I don't want to say compare, successes, but
You don't have to walk in and introduce yourself to everyone.
no, yeah, and you've had a similar path.
Yeah.
So do you find those players are you able to lean on any of them? If you're struggling or if you're going through something, are any of your teammates or former teammates what sort of people are you able to lean on for support?
I mean, I can lean on any of my teammates if I need support at school, because we spend basically every minute of every day together. So it's basically just one giant family down at school. So you can really trust anybody with anything down there. If you're struggling, if you're happy, you can ask anyone for help down there. It's a big, tight-knit family.
Do you still play wiffle ball between the dorms?
We do not, because we've got hours of baseball to play every day.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, that's one question I wanted to ask, actually, is how many hours are you practicing, working out, going over strategy, reviewing
A lot.
especially during the season when you're playing games?
During the season's a little less than the fall, since the fall is more about developing, getting better, learning.
So, in the fall, what's a day when you wake up? What's a day like in the fall? How does it go?
So we have, so Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it'd be usually wake up 8 o'clock, go to breakfast, check in, lift, go to breakfast, then go to class if you have any class that day. There'll be afternoon practice, probably about 3 hours.
Holy shit.
Come back, eat dinner, study, go to bed. Tuesdays are long days. Those are days where you really got to grind. That's where you really get better. Be waking up 7 a.m., lifting, eating, 10 a.m. practice to 12, usually around there. Some people leave early for class if they have it. If not, basically get some lunch after practice, chill for about an hour, back to the locker room, get changed, got 2 or 3 p.m. practice for 3 or 4 hours. Dinner, study, sleep.
So that's like 6 hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah, they're long days, those 2 days.
What consists of your practices?
Everything.
Everything?
Everything. Base running, hitting, defense, signs, coverages, communication.
How do you practice signs?
Yeah, how often are they like renewed or like refreshed or changed over the course of a season?
We don't change our signs.
No.
Our signs they're complex, but they're simple. If you learn them, they're simple.
Yeah, okay.
But we go over them probably about once a week. And when we go over them, if one guy gets it wrong, teams run into a pull him back.
Oh, boy.
So our coach really makes sure that we got our signs down, because knowing the signs can make a difference in a baseball game.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm gonna ask. I don't want you to disclose any of the secrets that you guys have, but I
It's not
know
like we could see the sign.
I know a lot of people. They know what baseball signs are, but they don't know how they work. They don't know really what they really mean.
Tell them to Google it.
So, walk us through the process of learning a sign and then receiving one from a third base coach if you're in the box, for example.
Well, signs are basically telling you sentences without speaking.
Like a hieroglyph.
Kind
Sign
of.
language.
Yeah.
Basically. So your coach or whoever will have certain parts on his body which means different things.
Yep.
So say the touch of a hat is a steal.
Yep.
So if he ever touches his hat, it's basically telling, hey, you're stealing second base. So it's basically just signs are one or things on your body that tells you sentences. So you can tell a couple sentences to the batter and the runner. You can be like, hey, okay, guy on first, you're going to steal, but the guy hitting, you're going to lay down a bunt.
Okay. And just by either, like, that could be like a touch of the hat and then stripe across the chest.
Yeah.
That could mean two things.
It could be, exactly.
How do you make those more complicated and harder to decipher for your opponent?
Even I could read that.
I don't want to give away anything.
No,
No,
don't
but
give
you could
away
have
anything.
like you could have like a keynote. We've
Yeah, you
done
can have
this. You have like a
yeah,
keynote where
you can
it's
have
like,
things
unlock
where
the door.
so say the touch of your left shoulder
Yeah.
opens up when you can give a sign, and then so you know left shoulder to the hat means steal.
So that's your indicator sign.
Yeah, so indicator. But if you just touch the hat,
Right.
it's nothing.
So basically the coach can be standing there doing the Macarena,
Yep.
and it doesn't mean anything until he
Hits
does
the
this
indicator.
one thing.
Exactly.
Until he turns the car on by touching the indicator.
Yes.
The indicator sign. Okay.
What was the consequence for missing a sign?
We'd have to run the whole team.
Oh god! Oh, the
It-
whole team.
Yeah, so
Oh jeez.
and the guy who got it wrong would stand there.
Oh, I like
so
that.
he wouldn't have to.
I
run.
like that.
Oh.
Get it
basically-
wrong every time.
Oh,
It's basically if you keep getting it wrong, you get the team to hate you.
I like
and,
that.
and they're gonna make you learn the signs.
Basically.
Oh yeah, I like
It's
that.
not. It's not like a fly running. It's just run to the foul, pull it back. But
And-
like if
But
multiple
still, nobody
people-
likes to run when you don't have to.
No.
Exactly.
Well, especially after a 4-hour practice. You've been standing in the
No,
sun.
we usually do signs at the beginning of practice, so you're still fresh.
Oh, that is generous. Wow, I'd make you do that at the end when your brain's a little bit more fried.
Yeah.
But that's a
It's
little
like
bit more.
Coach making you do suicides on the ice.
Yeah, in the last couple of minutes of practice after.
We're not having a scrimmage, coach, but we did so well today. Nope.
No.
Bag skate.
So, what sort of things would you have a sign for? You mentioned laying down a bunt if you're the batter. You mentioned stealing a base if you're on base. What other things in baseball do you need a sign for?
Hit and run, safety squeeze, suicide squeeze,
Just not swinging.
take, green light to steal.
That basically means steal if you want to.
If you think if you can get a good jump, you can go.
And is that a sign that he has to lay down every pitch, or is that an at bat kind of steal?
Kind of just in a bat, like he'll like just give it to you. Like first, maybe his first pitch he gives it to you, second pitch he gives
Right.
it to you, or
And that stays on for the duration that you're on first base, for example.
basically unless you.
Is that
takes it
more
off.
player orientated though? Who has a higher chance of?
Yeah, it's usually
stealing?
more player oriented. So like
Yeah.
extremely fast guys.
Like yourself.
not extremely fast. But usually wouldn't get a green light.
Okay.
But yeah, it's basically player oriented. Or if he's like, hey, maybe we can try something. You know, you got things
Catch
like
him off guard.
yeah, got things for like delayed steal,
Those are fun.
fake bunt. You can have things for a lot of like I can go way more in depth, but
Yeah, we don't need a whole
No, you don't have to.
encyclopedia,
Yeah.
a wiki page on all these sites. Okay,
Definitely don't.
but you know, like you said, you know, there's a sign represents a sentence or an action.
Yes.
And so you basically have a whole page of all of these signs. So how do you get tested on these, or how do you learn them? Is it a class session?
our coach would just be on the field, just asking, just people be lined up on the foul line. Coaches say, pointing you, go through the signs.
You tell
What
him.
is it? And you just got to repeat what he did.
Okay, I understand. See, a lot of people. I ask these questions because we all see highlight reel or what not maybe not highlight reel, but you know, pregame you can go to and watch batting practice, and it's like okay, they're
It's one of the best things.
they're swinging the bat. Okay, cool. They're getting their reps. So it's interesting to hear how you get your reps for on the mental side of the game too.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So speaking of batting practice, what sort of things do you do throughout college or throughout growing up that made you more comfortable in the batter's box, that affected your swing? Mark mentioned earlier, this might have been before we were recording actually, some things that maybe you learned earlier in your career that maybe don't do that anymore.
Oh yeah, what are some coaches or you hear coaches say to young kids that are completely false or just
We sort of loaded up on the questions there. Hit any one of those and I'll re-ask it.
yeah.
There's a lot of things. Okay, I'll start with just batting practice and what we do. So we do at school, we do a lot of game-oriented batting practice. So a lot of game situations. So when you get into a game, you have a higher chance of success because of
You've seen it before.
the hundreds and thousands of times we've done it. When you are asked to do something, you'll be comfortable, you'll be ready, you'll be confident to perform your task.
So you're less stressed out on the batter's
Yeah.
box. That's cool.
So are you hitting, does that mean you're using a tee? Does that mean you're using like batting cage not as much?
So it'll be either coach throwing front toss or just normal BP, and it'll be doing situations like trying to score a guy from third base, or a hit and run, or move him to third, things like that. Just game type situations that happen a lot.
So how does your approach when you're in the batter's box, how does your approach change if you have a guy on third and you're trying to score him versus like you have
Just an
base is empty?
Yeah, you're leading off the inning.
So those are some. So our coaches term out. Those are something between. So when the guy's on third, that's a team at bat you're going for, and nobody on. That's a personal at bat for
Okay.
yourself. So
Okay.
I got you.
So guy on third, it depends on what the infield's doing. If infield's back, you're trying to hit the ball on the ground somewhere up the middle, where he's going to score easily. It's not going to be a close play to play, or he's not going to be able to score at all.
Sure.
And if infield's in, you're going to try to put the ball up in the air, try to get to the outfield.
Okay.
Because if the ball is in, you hit on the ground, guy can't score from third.
Right. The ball's going to get to the infielders faster because they're closer to home plate.
Yes.
I understand. Right.
And nobody on base, saying lead off an inning. My focus is I'm just trying to drive a ball up the middle, try to hit a ball in the gap for extra bases.
Get into scoring position.
Yeah.
I've never heard of it as like a team at bat and a personal at bat. That's a cool like way to decipher, because the team at bat, you're trying to score the runner. Like you don't care if you get out as long as that runner scores, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Is there a particular approach you have in the batter's box?
Mine is just try to hit the ball up the middle. Try to hit the ball as hard as I can to the middle of the field. Just be on time. I'm not because if I can find a way to barrel the baseball, my successes of getting hit is going to be higher. Because
Then trying to place it. Sorry.
Then trying to place the ball instead of trying to focus solely on pulling it or focus solely on trying to go the other way. I'm just trying to stay middle of the field all times and just be on time.
And how do you react? So say first pitch, you pull the ball foul. So you're way ahead of him. is there a way that you sort of adjust, or do you just sort of say, you know what, that was a one-off, and let's just stick to the game plan?
If it's say an outside pitch and I do that, I gotta be like, okay, I'm early, just gotta wait a little longer. But if it's say a pitch that's in, and I just pull it foul, I'd be like, okay, I was on time, just pull it a little bit.
You're all over this guy. You got the pitcher shitting his pants.
I'm fine, just stay middle, and it's just gonna happen.
Okay.
So it really just all depends on like a bunch of different aspects, but usually I just try to stay focused, just try to stay on time, drive the ball up the middle.
So when you do something like that, are you looking for a specific pitch immediately after that you think is coming? Because I pitched, and when I've thrown inside on a guy and he's pulled it hard foul, I'm not throwing inside on this guy at all again in the next at bat.
Yeah. So
are your eyes going to be more like the outside of the plate or something after that?
I always kind of look more outside, 'cause that's where
You like to hit the ball?
I kind of, because I'm good. I'm good with the inside pitch, so I don't really need to focus with that. So
You don't worry about it?
No.
Okay.
That's more just react. So I kind of look more away, or I try to. So if I see a guy come in and I put a good swing on it, with a fastball especially, I kind of think, okay, he's probably not going to come in. He's probably going to come with an off speed or just go fastball away again. So, and we usually, college, you have scouting reports on a bunch of guys.
Yeah, you kind of work the at bat into your favor when
Yeah.
you do something like that. You limit where he can throw the ball.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
So when you're batting, you know your strengths.
Yeah.
And you don't really play to your strengths because you know you're good at them, but you try to cover your weaknesses as best you can.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so you mentioned scouting reports. How long? Okay, if you get a scouting report wrong, I hope the whole team doesn't have to run to the pole and back.
The scouting reports
Isn't that the coach's job?
it's
though?
mostly done by the coaches.
Coach, you said he was going to throw a fastball. Listen, you're going to have to run, man.
No, like scouting reports, like it isn't like for certain guarantees, just kind of a likelihood of what he's gonna do.
Right.
So like, you have that, you're ready for that pitch, but if he doesn't throw it, you still gotta be ready to adjust to it, to something different.
So how does your approach when you're walking from the dugout, you were just on deck and you're walking into the batter's box? Do you try to keep your mind clear? Or do you try to keep like one pitch in the back of your head that, hey, they just told me 2 seconds ago that, hey, watch the curveball?
Can I add to this?
Yes.
So what are the parts of a scouting report? Because most people who watch the Blue Jays say, oh, the pitcher throws like 90 to 95 curveball. Like what consists of a scouting report of a pitcher that you get?
So velocity obviously is important, but everyone starts to throw hard at some point.
Yeah.
So that doesn't really start to play a factor. It's more like, okay, so say it's a off-speed heavy type of guy. So he's going to come at you 90% of the time with an off-speed first pitch. So when you go up there, you're thinking, your fastball is basically, if it's a heavy off-speed guy who likes a lot of first pitch off-speeds, I go up there looking first pitch off-speed.
Okay.
And if he throws me a fastball, okay, next pitch is probably going to be an off-speed.
Just based on odds.
Just based on odds because he loves his off-speed.
Right.
And because if I'm up there thinking fastball and he throws me 2 off-speeds, I'm going to be
And you're down 0-2,
way
you're
out.
fucked.
I'm either going to be way out in front, down 0-2, or I'm going to roll over to first base and I'm out.
So you mentioned earlier that you had there may have been a little bit of a bat flip sort of at bat. Okay. So along those lines, for those of you listening that didn't play baseball growing up or haven't played a lot of baseball, when you connect with the ball, when do you know that it is gone? When do you know it's a home run?
You kind of just have that feeling.
When? Right away?
after you hit
First
it.
of all, you got to be able to hit the ball that far.
First of all, yes, that is true.
Yeah.
But we're assuming that he can.
Yeah. Well,
You just know right away after you hit it. It's kind of like, it's not really a feeling you can describe. It's more of a thing you just gotta experience multiple times.
well, hardy har har.
That's not what I
Sure, I
mean.
can hit a home run.
That's not what I meant.
It makes sense the way you're
It's
saying
just
it.
because
Though.
like when you hit your first home run, you don't know it's gone.
No.
You're
I
sprinting.
gotcha.
But like if you do it multiple times and you've hit a couple balls that you know are gone,
Right.
You understand.
you understand. You just know what that feeling's like. So once you do it again, it's kind of like, okay, that's gone.
That feeling was the same as the other time.
Yes.
Right. I gotcha.
Well, you see that with like just watching MLB. Like hitters know when a ball's out or it's high or it's close enough to the wall that they're either gonna be out or that it's a home run.
I noticed that too. And you see a lot of guys like they know they got it, but it lands in the first row. And I'm like, how are you that confident?
Yeah, like even if it was a fence, kind of a fence scraper.
Yeah,
those guys have done it hundreds of times.
Well,
they just have that.
They
feeling.
have that. They automatically. Yeah.
Okay, so we talked a lot about the offensive side. What about defense? How tough are those practices, or what specifically do you practice defensively? And what position are you mainly playing? Let's preface that conversation with that.
So I'm a first baseman. Again, we take a lot of ground balls, a lot of routine, simple ground balls. Because if you can make the routine play 100% of the time, you're gonna win baseball games, because those spectacular plays those diving plays are.
They don't
you're not expecting to make that play.
They almost don't happen enough to practice.
Exactly. If you make that play, it's like, hey, great job.
Yeah.
But if you struggle with making the routine plays, that's when your team starts to struggle. So we focus a lot on just routine ground balls, stuff like that. A lot of double plays. Me personally, when we finish all our defensive stuff, I like to get some extra work just on picking, because it's a big part of first base, being able to pick a ball.
Scoops,
yeah,
one hoppers,
yeah.
Short one hoppers,
just like short ones. They just got to scoop at first
Right.
base.
So a pick would be like a throw from the second baseman in the dirt.
Yeah.
Or a short hop from the third
baseman
Yeah.
across the
Right.
grass.
So I just like to folks work on those, just so if those situations happen, not often, but they do. So I just be able to help bail out my teammates.
Yeah.
Say they make
Nice-
a great play.
Nice little assist for the guy across the diamond.
Yeah.
Throw the ball better next time. Buddy.
You're not just closing your eyes and waving your glove out
Yeah.
there.
Right. I got
That's
you.
what I would
So
do.
going back to just repeating the simple play, if you're confident in doing the simple thing 100% of the time, your skill set is going to allow you to make the more difficult play.
Exactly.
If you have that skill set to make the play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so what's the point of having a guy that can make spectacular plays once in a
If he can't throw the ball to first base.
If he can't throw the ball to first place, or if he can't make the routine play 99% of the time,
exactly.
because that you boot two balls that are right at you, and then you make a spectacular play. You still
Made those two errors.
made those two errors. And you know what? I'd rather have somebody who didn't make those two errors, but also didn't make that spectacular play. So it's a +1 as opposed to a -1.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's go back to sort of the school, the college baseball part of it, and let's sort of flip things around. And when you were sort of doing your kind of day in the life, your Monday, Tuesday, I didn't hear you mention nutrition or cooking. What sort of program do they have you on, or have they taught you
Yeah.
regarding
Do you even know how to cook
food?
without mom?
So, well, first of all, we live in dorms. We don't have kitchens or anything.
Okay,
So
kitchens are off the table.
Yeah. So everyone on our team meets at the CAF.
Okay.
I think everyone has an unlimited meal plan, it's called, at our school.
Okay.
So you can go to the CAF whenever you want and eat as much food as you want.
Must be nice.
It is nice. So they usually have pretty nutritious foods there.
Okay.
Everything's pretty healthy. There's a wide variety of different types of food.
Mm-hmm.
It's good most of the time.
Doesn't your school have their own vegetable garden, all that stuff, and they process their own
I don't know.
produce? I thought I heard Bums mentioned it or something.
They might.
You got to get your money's worth with that unlimited meal plan there, don't you?
I get quite a few foods.
Okay, so what does a breakfast consist of? If you say you lift in the morning,
Yep.
you're in the gym in the morning even before breakfast.
Yep.
So what do you usually go to first? What's sort of what does a breakfast plate, a Noah Hull breakfast plate look like?
So breakfast, there's always scrambled eggs there. So I'm always getting scrambled eggs.
Okay.
And then they usually have hash browns, tater tots.
Are those the same thing?
They're similar, just
Okay,
made,
okay.
made different.
Sorry, yeah.
Potatoes.
Okay.
So I usually get something like that. Then sometimes there's breakfast sausage, bacon,
Okay.
ham,
Yep.
things like that. So that's usually main breakfast foods.
Sounds delicious.
They got yogurt. And then you got a wide variety of what do you want to drink. You got water, pop, juice, chocolate milk, normal milk.
Okay.
Yeah.
So post workout in the morning, are you going for an orange juice? Are you going for a chocolate milk?
Chocolate. I have chocolate milk with every meal I have.
Chocolate milk, yeah.
Yeah.
Are those advertisements correct? Are you supposed to have chocolate milk after a workout?
I don't know, but the chocolate milk at school is amazing.
It's just
And
delicious. Okay.
It's just.
Okay, so in terms of lunch, similar question. What's on like a lunch plate, or does it depend on the day based on if you were on the field or what you've been doing that morning?
All just lunch is always different every day. Like so, usually try to get something with protein in it, just cause things like that. There's some carbs. Sometimes it's just pasta for lunch.
Okay.
So you usually get a sandwich too. We have a big sandwich bar.
All right.
So it always just depends on what's there.
So it's a little more different than breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
do the chefs at your school have like a different menu every day?
Yeah, it's usually different foods every day.
That's
so
cool.
it's always being switched up.
And what's the dinner situation look like?
It's usually always some type of meat. Sometimes there's just a full out pasta bar. Sometimes it's taco night. Sometimes it's like Mexican night. Sometimes there's chicken fingers, there's wings.
What's your favorite dinner?
Probably like taco night is
And
really
the correct
good.
answer is whatever mom makes.
There's nothing can replace that.
Yeah, no, but what's your favorite meal at school?
Probably taco night. Taco night's always solid. Or when we have pasta, it's usually like chicken Alfredo, or you can go with just normal spaghetti and meatballs. Things like that.
So, at the end of the day, how many calories is this usually about?
Yeah, so is it almost like throughout the day you sort of have like some check boxes? Hey, I want to get like a protein, I want to get some carbs, and
I don't it's not really check my boxes. I just kind of know like I'm gonna need quite a bit of protein through the day because of all like that physical activity and lifting we do.
right, the 4 to 6 hour practice a couple times a day.
Hour lifts,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So you're gonna need protein to rebuild and help build muscles, get stronger. Carbs to stay energized, things like that. Usually something a little more carb heavy. It's that night, so I stay full through the night
Okay.
and don't have to drive and get fast food at 11 o'clock.
Okay. Yeah, you try to stay away from that.
Yeah.
Okay, so along that lines as well, switching from the nutrition side to, again, sort of the day in the life, you mentioned I didn't hear a lot of like class and studying. You said some guys have to take off a little bit early from practice if they have studying or if they have class. How do you balance the two?
So this year it was a little different just because of COVID. There weren't as many in-class sessions.
Okay.
So I personally only had 2 in-classes a week, Monday and Tuesday. Monday at 9 and like Tuesday at 1:30.
So you only had to school 2 days a week?
So I only had in-class school 2 days a week.
Oh man.
So you usually get a lot of your homework done after that final practice and dinner, and you usually do it. So you're usually back at your room by like 7:38.
Right.
So you have a couple hours to get some homework done before you want to go to bed. So you still have a lot of hours within a day to get schoolwork done for the week.
In terms of next steps, Iowa Western is a junior college.
Yep.
So what are you hoping to? Where are you hoping to go in the next couple of years, baseball wise?
To the NCAA, hopefully on a D1 scholarship, and then from there, hopefully I can continue to perform well and get a chance to play professional baseball. Those are hopefully the next step within the baseball career.
Perfect, great. So speaking of professional baseball, your experience with the junior national team, you had an opportunity to play against the Toronto Blue Jays prospect team.
Yep.
Down in Florida.
Yep.
What was that like?
It was
playing against pro players.
It was cool. So, most of our trips were with Team Canada were against all pro players, but when we were in St. Pete's in Florida, they always have a game against the Jays, and you usually get to see some good players. We get to play at the Dunedin Stadium, so just to play there was really surreal. You get to see a lot of talent. When I was there, we got to play against Bo Bichette.
Okay, cool.
You really get to see how good he is when you see him live. He came in like the 4th inning for a pinch hit at bat. He walked on deck. He's just kind of talking to some people in the stands. Well, I don't think I saw him take one warm-up swing.
Oh, jeez.
Walked in the box and hit a ball off the left center wall for a double.
Jesus.
I was like, that's why you're playing shortstop in the major leagues.
Right. Okay. So, I mean, when you're playing against guys, sometimes you just know.
Yeah.
Sometimes this guy he's a higher class, or he's at a higher level. He can just walk on, like you said, very, very few warm-up swings that you saw at least.
Yeah.
And then puts it off the wall, That's pretty incredible. So play against the Jays, or standing in the batter's box. What was it like facing pitching that was that caliber versus what you had played with Team Ontario, and then prior to that with Team Canada?
It's obviously a lot better. You have, again, velocity is a lot harder. You got guys mid-90s, but that's
How
not
do you even see a mid-90s?
good eyesight
Do you actually see the ball the whole way?
most of the way.
Yeah, so you're guessing and swinging?
Kind of. I mean, you have 100 milliseconds to respond to it, to know where it's going to be.
I just don't understand how you could
it's more
react to it.
Just
Knowing the timing.
Yeah.
kind of, yeah. But the hardest part's more they can spot up all their pitches. Their off speeds and even their fastballs have a lot more movement to it.
Right. Okay.
So it's just overall just the caliber is just better and more experienced with watching pro guys throw.
So I'll tell you a quick story. So this was I guess spring training, and you guys were down there in Florida.
Yep.
And the game was on a Toronto station up here, the Fan 590. We were listening on the radio. I was listening. I was just standing in my kitchen, and heard your name come up on the radio for an at bat. And I heard you. I listened to the radio call. I listened to you strike out while I was eating a chocolate chip cookie. I remember exactly where I was standing in my kitchen. But it was still it's cool that it's like, hey, like he's down there.
He's
I know,
literally my next door neighbor.
I know that guy. I shot tennis balls and those orange road hockey balls at him. Maybe not as hard as my brother did, or maybe not as hard as Mark did. As you know, you're related, so that's your job, Mark.
Yeah.
That was your job.
Yeah, but
right?
Mark was always the one that would get in trouble for doing it. So Mark did it probably the least out of all of us.
And who did it the most? Ian.
Ian.
Yeah, I actually tried to score goals.
Yeah, it was probably me. Not gonna lie.
There you go. Okay, so well, I guess let's do that as a kind of a wrap up question. Like from your childhood, just growing up, like what are just some of like the memories that you sort of think of, like, is it playing road hockey or, going to tournaments with like your hockey or baseball team? Like what are some of the memories growing up that you sort of are like, wow, like I'm really lucky I got to do that, or wow, Ian hit me in the chest with a hockey puck on the road. Like, wow, that really.
He also shot a ball at me when I scored.
Oh,
On purpose?
Yeah, you purposely shot the ball at me and it went in.
Oh, you scored. Yeah. Yeah, I did it on purpose. You were standing in the way.
I was at the side of the net.
Yeah, well, I used you as a rebound.
No,
Angles.
playing road hockey, I played it almost every day growing up, so it's obviously one childhood memory that I love doing. Going to tournaments just create a lot of memories with those as well. Off in the hotels with kids, people you create lifelong friendships with. So there's a lot of memories I can think of, but those are probably two that really stand out: is road hockey and just going to hotels on teammates.
And you still stay in touch with that Toronto crowd?
Yeah, I still stay in touch with a lot of guys I've played with growing up.
And I mean, I guess that's one sort of negative side of COVID is, you come home for the holidays, you're away in the States, and then you're like, wow, I'm sort of limited to what I can do right now. Yeah. So that can't be too great. Guys, anything else for Noah?
No,
I'll ask him later if I think about it.
Okay. Noah, just throw out your Twitter, your social handles, just so people want to give you a follow.
You can follow me on Twitter, Noah_Hall34, and Instagram, Hall33.
So we'll use our own Twitter. We'll give him a shout out. on our Twitter as well.
Yeah, when we post the episode.
Yeah.
I guess if we have to.
Yeah, we'll do that. And
free advertising, man.
Yeah.
So Noah, we're gonna do an episode next. We're gonna talk about Major League Baseball. We're gonna talk about the Jays. So we'd love to have you on if you want to stick around.
I'd love to stay.
So perfect. We'll do that. Noah, thanks so much. Good luck in your future endeavors. I know we're going to see you around just because we're neighbors, but all the best going forward, and I guess we'll keep the listeners posted on your baseball successes.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. It's fun.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks a lot for listening. Catch us next time. See you later.
Thanks for listening. Follow us on Twitter @DraftInHand.